Good morning and happy Wednesday. You know, to some of you, this might be a hump day, and some of you have no idea what day it is because we don't have a schedule anymore. Monday night, I told Ken, I said, don't forget to take out the garbage because it's garbage day tomorrow. And he did it. He didn't even, he was confused too that it wasn't Tuesday night, it was Monday night. And so now tonight, many of us are celebrating Passover. We believe that Jesus, according to 1 Corinthians 5:7, Jesus is our Passover lamb. And today I'm going to go longer because today I'm going to be sharing to you the 7 different places that Jesus shed his blood and what victory and what freedom and what he bought for us and what he won for us in those places that he shed his blood. The first place is he shed his blood in his face at the Garden of Gethsemane. When he sweated great drops of blood, and you'll find that in Luke 22:43 through 46. Right now it is the 3rd hour of the day. I wonder if I have my notes around me here to see what happened at the 3rd hour of the day. I had that yesterday for my Bible study. Okay, so all of you know that I am not perfect. And let's see. On the third hour, Jesus was crucified. This is the time of the morning sacrifice at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's called the 3rd hour of the day. On the Jewish calendar, on the Jewish clock. At noon, on the 6th hour of the day, that's when darkness fell till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the 9th hour of the day. And it was at 3 p.m. You can think about that today, that Jesus gave up his life. It was the time of the evening sacrifice. And today he was in the grave before sundown. And so many of you may be celebrating Passover, but let's look at the 7 places that he shed his blood. He shed his blood on his face. I'm talking about the agony was so strong that he sweat great drops of blood. And in this, Jesus won back our willpower. You know, Adam gave up his will. He said, no, I'm going to do my own thing in the Garden of Eden. In a garden, both of these things happen in the garden. Adam gave up our willpower, and that's why so many of the kids are addicted and pornography, and because they have, once you find Jesus, you find that victory. But Jesus won back our willpower in the Garden of Gethsemane. Adam said, basically implied, Father, not your will but mine. He intentionally ate from that tree. And Jesus said, not my will, but thine be done. You know, a lot of people are delivered. I know my husband and I, when we found Jesus at the age of 32, both of us were totally delivered from alcohol and smoking and different things like that. And all we wanted was Jesus, because he gave us back our willpower. The second place that he won victory for us was the head. The head. When he placed the crown of thorns upon his head. It wasn't like a crown like you see a king crown in normally. This was, they were making fun of him. And they put the crown that had spikes in it like this. And those spikes just went into his head, into his forehead. Now, when they placed that crown of thorns upon his head, the symbol of poverty was broken when they put that crown on him. This is where you sweat. You know, in the Genesis, when Adam sinned, a curse came upon the land. One of the things, the curse of both thorns and thistles and sweat of your brow. Those things came with the curse. And Jesus the symbol of poverty was broken for all those that received Jesus. God doesn't want us to have a vow of poverty. He wants us to take a vow of priorities. That's where the important thing is. It's not taking a vow of poverty like it's going to be something holy and righteous, because Jesus won back. He came against that poverty, spirit of poverty. And in Genesis 3:17, one thing that I've come onto right now is, Ken and I have found this really strong right now, is calling upon the God of the tithe. When we didn't start tithing when we were in church in our young life. We didn't start tithing when we got born again in 1982. We started tithing in 1992 when we made a decision that every cent that came across into our hands, 10% would go to God. And we have called upon the God of the tithe to rebuke the devourer of coronavirus. We have called upon the God of the tithe to rebuke the lack in every area in our life right now. We're calling on the God of the tithe. Now, the next thing he shed his blood was on his back. This is number 3. When he was beaten 39 times with a whip at the whipping post. Now, this whip was not just a normal, regular whip. It had spikes and stones and stuff in it, that when he was whipped, it tore muscle out. It tore flesh. And he was absolutely unrecognizable. Jesus won back our health. All sicknesses fall into 39 different categories in Deuteronomy 25:3. And Isaiah 53:5 says, with his stripes we were healed. And 1 Peter 2:24 says, by his stripes you are healed. You were healed. All sickness is of the devil. All sickness. Don't forget that. All sickness is of the devil. If you pray for somebody to be healed, don't say, if it be your will, because it is God's will for all of us to be healed. The next thing is his hands. I saw a picture the other day, one of those old pictures of Jesus looking feminine and weak, and there was a tiny little dot here. It was a spike. It wasn't a nail. It was a huge spike. When the spike was driven into Jesus' hand, he won back our dominion and our authority over things that we touch. Everything we put our hands to now should be prospering. Everything that we should put our hands to should be prospering. Genesis 1:26-28. Adam was given dominion and authority of everything upon this earth. In Psalms 1:3, we're supposed to be blessed in what we put our hands to. In Mark 16:18, Jesus said, you now have all authority. All authority has been given unto you. The 5th place that he shed his blood for us was bruises. When the soldiers would punch him, he was bleeding inside. He was bleeding inside. And it's Isaiah 35:5. He says, he was bruised for our iniquities. Iniquities can be a wicked act or sin, or it can be a spiritual force on the inside that pressures us to bow and bend under pressure. And he won back our deliverance from inner hurts and iniquities. These are generational curses. When you go to the doctor, they said, did your mom have cancer? Did your dad have diabetes? All of these things. Those are generational curses. And we can take authority over that and say, no, my Father God, he was never sick. And Jesus took all the sicknesses for us. We are in a new bloodline. Amen. The number 6 is the feet, where they were nailed together with a spike. A dominion. He won back our dominion over our walk and dominion over the god of this world. When shoes have to do with ownership of land back there, there would be a shoe that would prove that they were the owner of the land. We can walk our neighborhood today, and we can rebuke the devourer from our neighborhood. And then last time it was on his side. Number 7 was on his side. When they pierced him and blood and water poured out. This was victory over our broken heart. And he won back our joy. He won back our joy. Luke 4:18. Jesus proclaimed what he was going to be doing 3 years later. He proclaimed, he said it. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me. And one thing was to heal the brokenhearted. And look at John 19:34. When they put that spike, that pierced him in his side to make sure that he was dead, water and blood came out. And so I just pray that you would have a Passover to remember. Amen. May this day not be a normal Wednesday. May this day not be a normal day. May you enter into the Passover covenant today. Amen. God bless you. Bye-bye.